Alright guys, next review I want to do is the Transformers Prime Deluxe Class Robots in Disguise version of Soundwave. Easily one of the top two of the best figures that I have so far anyway. I would put him and Ratchet at the very top. There are a few others that are really good as well. If you've watched the reviews, you already know that, but he's one of the best. I do apologize because now the cat not only is laying where I need to do my review, but he is stretched out, he's sprawled, and he is completely asleep. So I don't have a whole lot of movement ability. I don't have a whole lot of motion space or any other phrase that I can think of. And I'm too nice to bother the cat, so bear with me. Hopefully you can see very well enough. I think it looks okay in the camera. Hopefully it does for you guys. Let's go ahead and get started. He stands almost 6 inches tall, so he's a little bit taller. He is kind of skinny, as you can tell. The arms especially, we'll get to that in a second. But the legs and the torso and the head are so nicely done on this figure. I really can't get over it. There's no backpack at all. Everything is just about perfect. It really is very surprising to me how good this is. And Mr. Bill Maru, you should have yours in a few days, hopefully. I'm glad I was able to help you get that through another person. Actually, it was Chipunkas who found that for you. So I'm glad you're able to get this figure. It's a very nice piece. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the figure. Paint application, just phenomenal. There's purple, there's pink, there's black, there's gray, there's silver. All kinds of painting on this guy. It looks great. It doesn't look like it's missing any paint, really. I mean, I know it's not exactly spot on for the show, but it's got enough contrast and breaking up of all the molded plastic that it just looks phenomenal. I absolutely love this figure. The sculpt is great too. It's not absolutely perfect, but it is really, really good. As far as articulation goes, the head is kind of on a spring joint for when it transforms, so that's kind of a hassle to play around with, but it does have a decent range of motion, and you can probably get some nice poses out of it. The shoulders have a good range of motion. This is on a swivel joint here. Then it has this joint, if I can do it, it's kind of tight. That joint there, so if you want to turn those in for some reason, you can turn those in. It's got a ball joint built in there, so full range there. Then it has a swivel at the bottom of that, and then it has the elbow joint there. And that's it for the articulation. This one you don't want to use probably. That's part of the transformation. There's even some painting on the inside of the arm, so that's pretty nice. The biggest gripe though is it's really thin. I know it's supposed to be thin, but it's just probably a little bit too thin. And his hands are a little bit too non-hand-like. I know it's pretty close to the show, it's just not quite where it needs to be. He does have waist articulation. Obviously, there's nothing there as far as transformation goes, so he's got full range of motion there. It's not ugly, it looks nice. Hips, same as everyone else, ball jointed hips. Full range of motion with a thigh swivel. His knees, they're actually the kind of backward knee joint, so there's a knee joint there, and then this part moves on the top part, so you can adjust it however you need to, really, and kind of play with that. There's not a huge range of motion due to him having those reverse knees, but it's effective. Then the feet have full range of motion forward and back. There's no rocker on his ankle at all, so if you need to put his legs like that, they're not going to sit flush, but it'll be okay, I think. And he does look really good, and he is fairly accurate for the show. So overall, he's very good. He's, like I said, he's in the top two. Going to give this robot mode a 9 out of 10. If the arms were thicker, that'd be great. And that's maybe an ankle rocker. That would be awesome too. Now, one of the most unique things about this guy is, since it's Soundwave, he needs to have some sort of connection to Laserbeak, and he does. Laserbeak is actually in his chest right here, and he pops out. It still looks relatively finished. I mean, you can tell that something goes there, but he still looks pretty finished. But Laserbeak pops out. You just fold these up, and bam, you have Laserbeak right there. I mean, it's pretty simple and plain, but I still appreciate when things like that are done for us. Sometimes Hasbro does give us some nice figures. I know Marvel Legends collectors might argue the contrary. I would myself in a lot of cases, but this Transformers Prime line is a perfect example of how things should be done. It's very nice, great figures, great bonuses like that. His robot mode's great. Let me get him transformed, and I'll talk about that once he's transformed. Alrighty, now we have Soundwave transformed into his vehicle mode, this aerial drone type of vehicle. He measures, he's actually kind of big, even though he's skinny. 6¼ inches long and nearly 7 inches wide. So he takes up a lot of space, even though he's pretty narrow. Now, it's an okay vehicle mode. It looks pretty good. It does have a nice little touch here with the landing gear. That wheel that folds down, it actually makes a difference because you don't have him sitting on the nose of the plane, so that's nice. I like that. The detailing's nice. You get all the, sorry, I don't know if you could see much of that. The landing gear is good. You get a lot of detailing in the paint. It looks pretty nice overall. I guess it's good that you can see through here, but there is kind of a kibble issue just in that it's not finished looking. It doesn't hang down, as you can see. It's pretty sleek, but it's pretty kibbly at the same time. So that's kind of up to you whether you like it or not. You have laser beak plugged into the chest down here. You can take him out. The robot mode chest, obviously. You can unplug him there. And it doesn't look bad. It looks a little bit empty, and you can plug him in up at the top. And it's kind of however you want to do it. You know, leave them down. Probably not so much. Probably bring them both forward like that. Something like that. I personally would just leave him in the chest. It finishes out the robot mode nicely. Well, not the robot mode. The robot mode chest fills it in a little bit and just makes it look nicer. So it's okay. There's no wheel to the actual landing gear. It's just a molded wheel. And there's nothing back here, just these points that come down. So it has no rolling, even if you wanted to. He would be displayed nicely if you hung him, probably with some fishing line or something. Otherwise, he's just going to be a sitting plane, which is okay. Not a big deal. But there he is. One other thing I probably should mention is if you wanted to, it's not meant to, but these wings do not have to go out to the side. You can unplug them and you can leave them back like this. Now, they don't mention this in the directions at all, and I'm pretty sure it's not like that in real life or any sort of drone. But if you wanted to, you could do that. I don't know why you would, but I figured it was worth mentioning since it snaps in pretty nice and doesn't look horrible. Oh, why is it not going back? I broke it. I broke it. I didn't really. It's just really tight. There we go. It's really tight, but it works. So you do whatever you want to do with that. It's your toy. Do it how you want it. I think that's a commercial for some other thing. It's your money. That's what the commercial is. Okay, so there he is. There's Soundwave. I hope that was informative. I do recommend the figure. I'm going to give the vehicle mode an 8 out of 10. It's not perfect. It's a little kibbly, and it could use landing gear on the back, but it's still pretty solid overall. So there he is. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the rest of the videos, and in the meantime, keep collecting.